The stars shattered like glass, and in the crimson haze of a dying nebula, I stumbled upon her, bleeding out on the jagged rocks of Epsilon Eridani's forsaken moon, her iridescent blood pooling like liquid starlight. My name is Jax Harlan, a washed-up asteroid miner with nothing left but a battered suit and a cargo hold full of regrets. And in that moment I should have walked away, but her eyes, those vast, swirling voids of purple and gold, locked onto mine, whispering secrets of galaxies I'd never dreamed. What I did next would unravel the threads of the universe itself. I knelt beside her, my gloved hands trembling as I scanned her form with my outdated medkit. She wasn't human, that much was clear. Her skin shimmered with bioluminescent scales, fading in and out like a hologram on the fritz, and her limbs were elongated, graceful, even in agony. A deep gash ran from her shoulder to her abdomen, oozing that ethereal fluid that defied gravity, floating upward in tiny droplets before evaporating into the thin atmosphere. "Who did this to you?" I muttered, more to myself than her, as the kit beeped a warning. Incompatible biology detected. But ignoring it felt like fate's cruel joke. After all, I'd lost everything to the void already. My wife, my crew, swallowed by a black hole's maw during the Orion Wars. Why not risk it all for a stranger from the stars? She stirred, her voice a melodic hum that vibrated through my suit's comms, bypassing language barriers like they were mere whispers. "Human, you must flee. They come." Her words carried the weight of ancient prophecies, and as I patched the wound with a makeshift sealant foam, praying it wouldn't kill her faster, a shadow loomed over the horizon. Drones, sleek and predatory, slicing through the nebula's glow. My heart pounded. "Run, Jax," my instinct screamed. But her hand, clawed, yet delicate, gripped my arm. And in that touch, a flood of images invaded my mind. Vast empires crumbling, a hidden artifact pulsing with forbidden power. What horrors had she escaped? But that was only the beginning. I dragged her into my rover, the engines whining under the strain as we barreled across the lunar craters. The drones pursued, their laser sights painting red dots on our hull like accusatory fingers. "Hold on," I yelled, swerving through a field of geothermal vents that spewed sulfurous plumes. She moaned, her body convulsing as the foam interacted with her alien physiology, knitting flesh in ways that defied human science. In the rearview holoscreen, the drones closed in, firing pulses that cratered the ground behind us. One grazed the rover's side, sending sparks flying and alarms blaring. Escape seemed impossible until she whispered a command in her tongue, and suddenly my mind linked with hers. Telepathy? It was real, raw, like diving into an ocean of thoughts. She guided my hands to override the rover's systems, boosting the thrusters with some ethereal energy she channeled through pain. We rocketed into a hidden ravine, losing them in the shadows. But why me? Why trust a broken human like Jax Harlan? As we hunkered down in a concealed cave, her breathing stabilized, and she revealed her name. Lyriel, emissary of the Veil Collective, a coalition of ancient alien races hidden beyond the galactic rim. I was betrayed, she confessed, her voice echoing in my skull like distant thunder. The Collective guarded the Nexus core, a relic that could rewrite reality itself, bending time and space to the wielder's will. But a rogue faction, the Shadow Synod, sought to weaponize it, unleashing chaos across the stars. Lyriel had stolen a fragment to prevent catastrophe, only to be hunted down and left for dead on this barren rock. You have a pure resonance," she said, her eyes searching mine. "Your pain mirrors mine. Together we can stop them." Pure resonance? Me? A man who drowned his sorrows in synth whiskey after losing his family? Doubt clawed at me, but her presence stirred something dormant. A spark of purpose I'd thought extinguished. The cave's walls glowed faintly with bioluminescent fungi, casting eerie shadows that danced like specters from forgotten myths. I shared my rations, watching as she adapted them to her biology, with a subtle wave of her hand, molecules rearranging in midair. Magic? No, she explained, quantum entanglement tech woven into her very DNA. As night fell on the moon, artificial cycles simulated by orbital reflectors, I pondered the absurdity. Here I was, allied with an alien princess, evading interstellar assassins. But deeper questions gnawed. What if the Sin had caught us? What horrors would they unleash? And why did her touch feel like home, easing the ache in my soul? None of us were prepared for the truth lurking in the stars. We emerged at dawn, the nebula's red light bathing the landscape in blood. My ship, the Nomad's Lament, waited in a makeshift landing zone, its hull scarred from years of solo runs. As we boarded, Lyriel's wound reopened slightly, her blood staining the deck. I sealed it again, but she weakened, her telepathic link flickering. The fragment, it's inside me, she revealed, placing my hand over her chest. I felt it, a pulsating warmth, like a second heartbeat. The core's peace was embedded in her, sustaining her life while drawing pursuers. We lifted off, engines roaring as we punched through the atmosphere, but the Synod's fleet materialized from hyperspace, massive cruisers with hulls like blackened thorns. Evasive maneuvers. I barked at the AI pilot, but it was Lyriel who saved us, channeling the fragment's power to cloak the ship in illusory shadows. We slipped away, jumping to warp, but that escape came at a cost, her energy drained, leaving her in a coma-like state. What I saw next in her shared memories changed everything. In the quiet hum of hyperspace, I delved into the visions she imparted. The Veil Collective's homeworld, Etheria, a planet of floating crystal cities where beings of light debated the fate of lesser races. Humans were seen as primitives, warring children on the galactic fringe. But Lyriel believed differently. She'd studied our history, our art, our unyielding spirit. You fight not for power, but for love, she'd thought in one memory. Then came the betrayal, her own brother Vexer, leading the Synod, driven by envy and a thirst for dominion. He'd ambushed her shuttle, forcing the fragment into her as a cruel anchor, ensuring she'd die slowly if removed improperly. Horror gripped me. Family betrayal? It mirrored my own past, my brother-in-law's sabotage during the wars, costing my wife's life. Anger surged. I vowed to protect her, no matter the cost. But a warning echoed in my mind. The fragment was corrupting her from within. We arrived at the neutral outpost of Nexus Station, a sprawling hub orbiting a gas giant teeming with smugglers, diplomats, and exiles from 100 worlds. Disguising Lyriel in a cloaking shroud, tech I'd scavenged from a derelict. I carried her to a black market medic, a tentacled cephaloid named Zorak, who owed me a favor from a poker game gone wrong. "This is beyond me, Harlan," Zorak gurgled, his eyes bulging as he scanned her. The fragments bonded at a subatomic level. Extract it wrong, and she'll unravel like a quantum string. But as he worked, alarms blared. Synod agents had infiltrated the station, their psi-hounds sniffing out the fragment signature. Chaos erupted. Laser fire crisscrossing the corridors, aliens fleeing in panic. I fought back, my old service pistol barking defiance, shielding Lyriel as we fled to the docks. A stray bolt grazed my shoulder, pain exploding like fire, but her faint telepathic urging pushed me on. "Don't stop for me." We stole a shuttle, blasting free as the station's defenses lit up the void. But that was only the beginning of our odyssey. Hyperspace jumps blurred into a relentless pursuit, each stop a desperate bid for allies or intel. On the desert world of Karos, we sought the Oracle of Sands, an ancient AI buried in dunes that whispered prophecies. The human and the veiled one shall ignite the galactic dawn, or doom it to eternal night. It intoned, its voice like grinding stone. Lyriel, awakening briefly, interpreted. We needed to reach Etheria, confront Vexer, and restore the fragment to the core. But Karos's storms raged, sand, elementals, sentient whirlwinds controlled by the Synod, attacking our camp. I battled them with improvised EMP grenades, my suit tearing as abrasive grains scoured my flesh. Lyriel's power surged, calming the storm with a wave, but it weakened her further. "Why save me?" I asked in the aftermath, bandaging wounds under twin moons. "Because you see beyond the stars, Jax. You see souls. Her words stirred emotions I'd buried deep, hope, connection, perhaps love. But doubt lingered. Was this bond real or a side effect of the fragment? As we pressed on, the galaxy's underbelly revealed itself. In the neon-lit undercity of Vega Prime, we bartered for a neural enhancer to stabilize Lyriel's condition. There, I encountered an old flame, Mira, now a cybernetic informant with eyes like glowing circuits. Jax, you're in over your head, she warned, handing over schematics for Etheria's defenses. But jealousy flared when she sensed my link with Lyriel. She's using you like they all do. A trap sprung, Synod bounty hunters ambushing the deal. Fists and beams flew in the crowded market, stalls exploding in flames. I shielded Lyriel, taking a hit that cracked ribs, but her telepathy amplified my reflexes, turning me into a whirlwind of precision. We escaped, but Myra's betrayal cut deep. She'd sold us out for credits. Trust is a luxury in the stars. Lyriel consoled, her hand on my chest. Yet her own secrets simmered. Visions showed she'd known of Earth's wars, perhaps even influenced them from afar. What hidden truth was she guarding? Tension escalated as we neared the galactic core, hyperspace lanes fraught with patrols. Lyriel's health deteriorated, the fragment's corruption manifesting as hallucinations, ghosts of her past haunting our shared mind. I saw her childhood on Etheria, playing in gardens of living light, only to witness Vexor's descent into madness after their parents' assassination by rival factions. He was my protector once, she wept in a lucid moment. My own demons surfaced, nightmares of the black hole claiming my family, their screams echoing eternally. We bonded over loss, our conversations stretching through sleepless nights. Humans feel so deeply, she marveled. It's your greatest strength and weakness. But a revelation struck during a routine scan. The fragment wasn't just sustaining her, it was evolving me, enhancing my senses, granting glimpses of alternate realities. Power tempted, whispering of revenge against those who'd wronged me. Would I succumb? A major turning point loomed as we infiltrated the Shadow Synod's forward base on a rogue asteroid. Posing as defectors, we sought intel on Vexor's location. The base was a labyrinth of dark corridors, pulsing with forbidden tech, cloned warriors, mind control orbs. Lyriel, disguised, hacked their network with her innate abilities, but we were discovered. Vexor appeared via hologram, his face a twisted mirror of Lyriel's, scales darkened by corruption. "Sister, you brought me a pet," he sneered. "The fragment calls to me." A fierce battle ensued. Synod guards swarming, their energy blades clashing with my improvised weapons. Lyriel unleashed a psychic blast, shattering minds, but it backfired, the fragment overloading and sending her into seizures. I carried her out, fighting through pain, but the escape pod malfunctioned, stranding us in the asteroid's core. There, in the dim glow of magma vents, she confessed, the core isn't just a relic, it's a live, a sentient entity that chose us both. Wait, this wasn't what I expected. The fragment had orchestrated our meeting, binding our fates to prevent universal collapse. No longer pawns, we were players in a cosmic game. Reinvigorated, we repaired the pod and jumped to Etheria, the collective stronghold. But arrival brought betrayal's sting. Vexor had already seized control, his forces besieging the crystal cities. Floating spires cracked under bombardment, beings of light scattering like fireflies. We landed amid chaos, allying with loyalists who viewed me suspiciously. A human? Here. Lyriel vouched, her voice commanding respect. Together, we orchestrated a counterstrike, infiltrating the central citadel where the full Nexus core hummed. Battles raged, laser skirmishes in anti-grav halls, psychic duels warping reality. I adapted, my enhanced abilities turning me into a force, dodging blasts, anticipating moves. But emotional lows hit hard. Witnessing allies fall, their essences dissipating into ether. Lyriel's doubt surfaced. What if Vexor is right? What if control brings peace? The climax unfolded in the core's chamber, a vast dome where stars swirled like captive dreams. Vexor awaited, the fragments pull drawing Lyriel forward. Join me, sister. Remake the galaxy in our image. His words tempted, promising to resurrect my family from temporal folds. Inner conflict tore at me, love for Lyriel versus the allure of lost ones. She hesitated, the bond straining, but I intervened, tackling Vexor in a brutal melee, fists against claws. This ends now. Energy surged as Lyriel extracted the fragment, pain racking her form. Vexor lashed out, a psychic wave slamming me against crystal walls. Visions flooded, alternate timelines where I failed, galaxies burning. Yet in one we triumphed. Drawing on our link, I channeled strength to Lyriel. She merged the fragment with the core, unleashing a purifying wave that dissolved Vexor's corruption. As the chamber stabilized, Vexor crumpled, redeemed in his final breath. "Forgive me, sister." Tears streamed down Lyriel's face, scales brightening. The collective hailed us as saviors, but the cost was steep. Her physiology altered, unable to return to her ethereal form. "I'll stay with you, Jax," she whispered, choosing humanity over immortality. We departed Etheria, the galaxy forever changed, alliances forged between humans and aliens, secrets of the core shared for peace. But as we gazed at the stars from the Nomad's lament, a final thought lingered. Had the core truly chosen us, or were we mere vessels for its will? In the vast expanse, one truth endured. Love, across species and stars, could astonish even the cosmos. The nebula's glow faded behind us, but its light lived on in her eyes, and in the galaxy's astonished whisper.